I became a patient at the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, Arizona. The doctors were first rate, absolutely the best. I was super surprised with just how comprehensive the health care was there, but the doctors, the medical care was top of the line. And we went through the different options. I did consult with the radiologist, even though radiation wasn't going to be a viable option at this point. The only way that radiation was going to become a player again is if during surgery they could not remove all of the tumor and they had to leave a small piece, maybe to prevent some nerve damage or something along that line, then maybe radiation becomes a factor later. But I went through all of the different medical specialties, and everybody weighed in on what the options were. Now, to be fair, we're not talking about a broken arm. When you have a broken arm, it's either broke or it's not. When you're dealing with nerves, there are unexpected side effects. There are things that should have gone one way, but they just simply don't. And so you have to expect the unexpected. Now, we talked about I was going to likely lose most or all of the hearing on the right side, but there were actually different ways that could be dealt with at a later date. And the idea of some facial paralysis on a temporary basis was mentioned as well. Now, both of those things did happen. I did lose quite a bit of hearing on the right side, but not all of it. I'm very thankful for that. And there is a little bit of facial weakness still on the lower right side of my jaw. But the surprise, the thing that never even came up as a conversation in my case, was terrible, terrible dry eyes. Doesn't sound like a big problem in the total picture. You had a brain tumor removed and you're whining about dry eyes. We're not talking about, just put a couple of drops in. I mean, it was severe, painful dry eyes. And it was debilitating, and it lasted for quite a while. In fact, I still suffer from it 9 months in. Blepharitis is what it was ultimately diagnosed as. Now, I could have had some of this particular ailment prior to the surgery, and it was exacerbated. It could have started to manifest itself as a result of the surgery and the facial weakness and all of that. It's hard to say, but it was not an expected result, and it really laid me out for months. There were times where by 8 o'clock at night, I need to just go to bed because I'm just in too much pain to even bother anymore. And so it was a bad situation. Right now, 9 months in, it's manageable. It's dry eyes. It's uncomfortable, but it's not painful the way that it had been. So it continues to improve as my facial paralysis continues to improve. They said it would be a year. I would be surprised if it wraps up in the next 3 months. I have a feeling that this is going to go probably a little bit longer than that even. The doctors say a year, but the more people I talk to say, oh, it could go a year, year and a half. It's just, it's when your body is ready to heal. As long as there's no underlying damage to the nerve, it's just a matter of retraining the muscles, then it will heal. That's what I'm going through now. Balance was a thing for me, different from vertigo. The vertigo that I suffered was because of the tumor pressing on nerves and doing all sorts of chaos and things like that. But when you suddenly have a little bit of trouble hearing on one side, whereas you were able to hear prior, and in my case, I have a little bit of trouble seeing on the right side too, kind of unrelated to this, but the lack of stimuli from the right side eye and the right side ear created a little bit of balance issues because the brain is looking for input signals from that side of my head, and it's not getting it, so it doesn't know what to do. And so, for decades, my body worked a certain way, And now suddenly it's having to figure out a new way of doing it. And it's kind of like, if you lose a finger in a machine or something like that, you can learn to do everything you used to do, but you have to find a new way of doing it. And that's basically what I'm doing now, is the brain is finding new routes to make nerves work the way they're supposed to. So that's encouraging, but it's very slow and very aggravating when you're trying to return to a normal-ish type of life, and you just want this kind of behind you. The point that's important to make on this is that the doctors can't tell you what this is going to be like. They can't tell you what's going to go down here, because all they can do is tell you what happens most of the time. But everybody's different. And like I said, unlike the arm, you break a bone, it's either broken or it's not broken. With nerves, there's a lot of them. They affect muscles. They do things. They do what they're going to do. And your body's going to respond how it's going to respond. So everything the doctors tell you, you have to go into it with a grain of salt, because there are a lot of X factors that the doctors don't necessarily want to talk about, because to some extent they don't know.